Yep, going live. I think I'm good. I'm live. Okay, never mind. Okay, bye. Thank you. Bye. That's hilarious. Oh my god. Okay, can you actually view?
I'm trying to see if I can view you. Better to be seen and not viewed is what people like to say.
That's fair. Yeah, it says I'm live. I'm gonna
The link still says waiting for mix, which is weird.
Wait, is it a different URL now?
Yeah, I don't know. Give me a different link, maybe.
Um, if you can see this, type some B's in the chat.
Bumblebees.
Oh, I think we're live.
Where's that audio coming from? Why do I hear audio?
Okay.
Don't give me an ad on the front end of a live chat. That's not fair. Okay.
I'm gonna repost this link to Patreon.
Yeah, do that.
File, new. I'm so sorry that this live stream is off to this rocky of a start, but
No one's watching.
wait, really?
Yeah.
Do I have to...
They might have gotten kicked off.
Oh, hold on. Link.
We can go 10 minutes over.
Yeah. Fix it in post 2.0. We live. Select tiers. Those two. Post. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, wait, I need to go to the other one and delete it.
Yeah. Trash bin.
Delete that bitch.
Okay. Hello.
Hi, is there one connected person? I'm so sorry we're a mess. Well, I'm a mess. He's not a mess, I'm a mess. Also, it's freezing in here. Literally, my fingers are icicles.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me, oh, hey, Francisco.
Hey there.
Nice. Okay, again, I am so sorry that this has been off to a rocky start, but, yeah, I think we got it figured it out now.
Volume is low. All right. I got you. I got you. It's my one job.
You got this. I believe in you.
All right. Thanks for the quick feedback, Francisco. Check, check. Yep. That's probably better. Is that better? Oh, I forgot we're on a delay.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Hi. Volume is low. Yep. Okay. Hopefully. Wow, there's such a delay. That's like
Yeah, don't look at it.
really unfortunate. Okay, so hi. Let's go to this jump for a second. How's everyone doing today? I'm what's that?
Now we're rolling.
Now rolling? Cool. I mean, yeah, sure.
So sorry for getting started about 15 minutes late. To anybody that has to go at 1, we apologize. We'll probably go till about 1:15 since
Yeah.
we started 15 minutes late.
Yeah. That's a technical issue because I didn't see the go live button. That is a thing. So yeah, that's whatever. But yeah, I think let's edit some photos.
Yeah, get right into it.
I forget who it was that DM'd me specifically. I'm so
Isaac.
sorry. Was it Isaac? I think it was Isaac. But anyways, Isaac sort of
Yeah, it was.
wanted me to specify like what photos are raw, what photos are not raw. And this photo on my screen right here of the Pixel 4 which I posted yesterday. This is in fact a raw photo. Now, the thing about this photo is I was just trying to go for a very clean, very simple, sup, Diego? Very clean, very simple edit. I'm not sure if anyone has seen the photo, but we'll go to Instagram. Oh, actually, no, we can just go.
Weird Instagram flex.
You know what? That was the final edit that I posted yesterday. Now, what's funny about this photo is I didn't realize that I was making a notch pun until I made the notch pun, because part of film is this cutout, and I sort of inverted it. This is a very creaky chair today, but it kind of looks like a notch. I posted it looks like a notch, and people were saying, "Oh, why do you have a notch in your photo?" And it's what we call a happy mistake. So there's that. But again, coming back to this, you can see like there's not all that much that I did that's like super different. I stuck to pretty much the neutral tones. I wanted to respect the white balance. Usually I don't auto white balance. I don't grab the little eyedropper and do this. But in this situation, since that is pure white, why not? It is a little too warm for my taste, so I'm going to bring this back to about there. The skin tone looks really natural at that white balance, which is important. I also like to drop my yellows, especially in this room. My walls are kind of like a grayish color, but they definitely go more of a warmer hue than a cooler hue. A taupe?
A taupe. A beige. An ivory.
Is taupe a color?
Yeah, taupe is a color. Isn't taupe like I think it's like a warm white.
I've never heard of taupe.
I'm looking it up. Taupe.
I've heard of trope, but never heard taupe.
Taupe?
Topaz. It's the wrong color.
Gray with a tinge of brown is taupe.
Oh.
This is the color. Look at that. Oh my god, it's perfect. It's exactly
actually,
a taupe.
Yeah, no. Wow, I hate that you're right.
You can't see that, but it's exactly freaking taupe. Just believe me.
You're gonna like the way it looks, I guarantee it.
Maybe wait for the plane to go over.
Wow, hello plane. We work by an airport and a train track. Mm-hmm. So we get all the noises. You see an Olier photo. You know what? I was actually going to text Olier yesterday, and because I haven't used his presets. I don't really use that many presets, but like if there's any one preset back that I want to try, it's definitely Olier's. It's a clean Olier photo. Yeah, you get what it is. But yeah, again, I like to drop the yellows just because it brings down that weird hue of yellowish brown on these walls in here.
Can I ask a question as
the
lowest common denominator in the room?
Let's get it.
So when you said, you kind of brushed over something I would think is pretty important, which is you were like, you were talking about the auto white balance and then bringing it back, and you were like, oh, at this point, and you chose a point, you said, this is where the skin looks natural.
Yeah.
And I think, like, I know from my vantage point, but also knowing your vantage point, like, you spend a lot of time thinking about skin and knowing how to color skin. And, like, you're not just talking about your skin looks natural there, but kind of, like, looking at your skin, assessing what dominant colors are and how to adjust for that dominant color.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's also really important that you know how to... That's a really good point. It's important that you know your skin tone, because everyone's skin tone is very different. So one thing that I discovered about Jake's skin tone after editing this photo, actually it was another photo where he's more in focus, but Jake
uses send mark angrily.
Exactly. Jake has a more magenta skin tone than I do. So I was editing the photo like I'd edit my skin tone, And I was looking at it and I was like, why is his skin tone so red? Like, why doesn't it look natural? And then I think I just like looked at you for like a solid minute.
Yeah.
And he was just like completely freaked out. It's like, oh no, your skin tone is really just magenta. So definitely pay attention to what kind of skin tone you're working with, and adjust accordingly. But I'd say mine is definitely more of like the olive complexion.
Yeah.
But with that said, I like to keep a skin tone as desaturated as possible. When you go too saturated, it really breaks down the skin. It makes it look kind of sickly in a weird way, almost blotchy, if that makes sense. You good?
I think so.
But yeah, no, that's sort of what I like to do with skin tones. Skin tones are a little difficult at times, especially in video, just because you get less granular manipulation of skin tones. But with photos, I like to take the time there. So, moving right along, I sort of went in for color first above light, which I don't normally do, but I'm going to bring this up. The issue with editing white is that it blows out really easily. So with that type of situation, it's kind of a balance of playing with highlights and exposure. So generally about there, bring highlights to about there. I don't want to lose, so that Google logo, I don't really want to lose it. I did superimpose a Google logo on my final post yesterday just because I wanted to make it a bit more prominent. It's also, I mean, kind of a sponsored thing in a way, so make that logo a bit more prominent. But yeah, that's that. However, I think on my second attempt today, I'm going to try and keep that in there for as long as possible. Did I get another question?
You got a question about coffee? Diego says, I'm the only one that's still without getting almond milk in coffee instead of cow's milk. Almond milk, this is the thing that's kind of tripping me up. Quote, almond milk is the proof that we live in a society? Question mark?
I don't know what you mean there, but
put it on a t-shirt though.
I'd be willing.
I think almond milk is proof that we live in a society. Sure.
I mess with that. I only drink half and half of my coffee, or just straight cream. In the UK, they don't have half and half. You only get straight what they consider pouring cream. So whenever I go to the UK, they look at me as if I'm nuts because they all put milk or nothing at all in their coffee. And my American ass just walks in, asks for pouring cream, and they're like,
you put butter
you
too.
Want what now?
I think you were one of the people that told me about putting butter in
your coffee. Yeah, no.
That shit's awesome.
So if you put like half a stick of, like, you are going to clog your arteries. You are going to die by like 50. But like if you put butter in your coffee, it is one of the weirdest sensations. It tastes, this is going to sound really stupid, it tastes smooth and like butter.
Can I give a counterpoint to your, I know this live stream isn't about health, but
I mean, it can be.
I want to counter your fat clogs arteries. It's
okay.
Actually sugar that clogs arteries. Fat,
but like doesn't
different cholesterols, like butter cholesterol, in moderation is actually super good for your arteries.
Sugar go shove a sock in my mouth.
Sugar creates cholesterol, so eat low sugar, high
okay,
fat diet.
Fine. I see how it is.
Diego, don't open doors you don't want open, bud. We're gonna get back to
never asks a question ever again.
Yeah.
It's like these people are weird.
Sorry. But yeah, almond milk's really good too.
I have never put almond milk in my coffee, and I'm kind of, I don't know.
I'm afraid. A coconut milk guy, and actually coconut cream from a can, like the stuff that you'd use for like a Thai curry, like it's really thick.
Oh.
If you just take, just like you do with butter, if you take a huge, just heaping like glob of coconut cream, throw that in your coffee.
Yeah.
Super good.
Yeah. Also.
What about coffee now?
I'm gonna be.
No.
I mean.
I'm fine.
I'm gonna be hooded for a portion of this because it's freezing in this office.
You want my scarf?
For no reason.
You want to wrap my handmade scarf?
Yeah. I mean, I doubt this is gonna add very much to the equation, but like, why not? Oh, it smells interesting.
Right?
Not to like smell your scarf or something,
please
but
do.
like, please smell my scarf.
Please smell my scarf. I dyed that scarf myself, y'all. I collected pokeberries.
Jake is many things. One of them is talented in the arts and crafts world. Is this arts and crafts? Do you consider this arts and crafts?
Sure.
Okay.
Whatever.
I usually just arts and crafts with like sticks and what are those, puffballs? Pom poms?
Yeah, I think arts and crafts is sort of a little diminutive. I think like people.
Yes, that word.
People like to say art. They do art or they craft. But I think when you say arts and craft, it is kind of like let's make a double helix out of, you know.
I guess my life is
sugar
arts and
cubes.
crafts.
But I think we're all in art and we're all in craft.
Oh,
so.
I like sugar cubes. Sugar cubes are fun. So back to this. I'm gonna pull up the blacks, just because. Wrong way. I know what I'm doing. Just because I want to give that faded out look. That's way too bright. I'd say about there. Yeah. I'm
interrupting photo chat with Coffee Chat again.
Interrupting Cal.
So Diego, and for anybody that's listening, brown sugar is sugar with molasses in it. And if you want something that tastes just like brown sugar in your coffee but isn't brown sugar, molasses in coffee is amazing. It doesn't seem like it would be that good. It is like...
Don't you get the taste of molasses, though?
Yeah, it's delicious.
I feel like I've only had molasses, like, once, and I hated it.
Maybe it's a love-hate thing, but it's like... Because it's a little acidic, it's almost a little bitter, but it's like... It's so good. It's like... You kind of get that pumpkin spice feel out of it, but it's just...
Oh, interesting.
It's just this really round flavor.
Oh, no, Listen, when I asked... I was at some coffee shop in Seattle... And I asked for half and half and sugar. They literally looked at me as if I was, like, killing their child. Like, they take offense to it. Like, it's funny.
They gave birth to Starbucks.
They gave birth to that coffee.
We took Starbucks into this world. We can take it out.
Cold coffee.
Wow, that was graphic. Okay.
Sorry.
Do the photo thing, no more coffee talk.
Okay, fine. So now I play... Whoa. That actually has a lot more effect on this than I thought it would. So with contrast... I think I'm honestly just going to leave it at 0 because it looked better there. Now, there's a couple more things that I want to do. I'm going to play with the tone curves a little bit. I usually just go down the line and make micro adjustments as I go. Honestly, just the best way of doing it, in my opinion. I sort of do this thing where like I go up and down and I sort of dial in exactly what I like. But generally, once you get to the end, that's sort of where you decide how faded out you want your blacks to look. I think like the look on Instagram, definitely go faded out. Like that's, in my opinion, on Instagram, especially with OLED being such a thing. If you go deep black, it's not gonna look super nice on mobile, in my opinion. So yeah, I definitely suggest more faded out shadows. So from here, actually I think I'm going to drop blacks a tiny bit more. About there. Yeah. So now, I'm going to bring up vibrance a little bit. About there. Yeah. And now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go after this orange power button. This took me a lot longer than it really should have yesterday, to be completely honest. Like, I was trying to do a shape mask first, and then I realized that wasn't going to work. And then, Yeah. So I have auto mask on just because it tries to judge for you what should be part of the mask and what shouldn't. And then from here, I just kind of figure out how much spill. Okay, so it actually did a really good job. I'm just going to clean this up a tiny bit. Go in here. And then I think... a little bit more. Yeah. Okay. And then from here, move this up a tiny bit. And then saturation, I'm just gonna, bring up. Now this type of thing, in my opinion, it's important to try and grasp exactly what the color is. So it's more of like a peach. I don't know how much of this you can see. It's more of a peach. It's not in focus, but it's more of a peach. So trust me. So I'd say that we're close. You're pretty close. I'd say about there. Yeah. And then yeah. Cool. And then in post, I'm going to go into Pixelmator after this and add a couple more things. But you see this like blue tint around, obviously I'm pointing, you can't really see, this blue tint around the shadows. That, unfortunately, we sort of have to deal with because that's going to annoy me a lot. You can't really see it from this perspective, but just basically going around with the desaturation tool and just getting rid of that really quick, easy peasy.
On that internal white edge? The plane? The white plane?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I love that. It looks so good. It's like lapis. It's like it's ultramarine color.
You know, it bothers me only because of the fact that everything else is monochrome.
Yeah. I hear that.
If there were more colors in here,
yeah,
then yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really want the only two hues that actually show some saturation to be the orange and yellow hue, being the skin tone and the power button and kind of the wood floor. But that's sort of as far as this edit goes. I'm gonna add a tiny bit of grain just to
there's this
there we go.
There's this, how much
about there.
When was the last time you were in the PMA?
When was the last time what?
You were in the Philadelphia Museum of Art. Been a while?
Dude, it's been
oh really?
Whoa. It's been probably 2 years.
Oh wow. We gotta get you over there. We should spend a day over there. It's awesome.
Okay.
But
I think I've been at the Barnes. No, that's a lie. I was at the Barnes 4 years ago. Never mind.
Well, so there's a painting in the PMA. It's this huge. It's like super ornate. It's kind of like around like Rubens, like really ornate, kind of like gothic kind of shit. And it's this like these devils doing this thing, and it's all in monochrome. It's all mostly just like an umber, like sort of a desaturated brown, and white.
Yeah.
But then there are touches all over. Just the accent notes, the highlights are in color, and every time I see that, I'm just like, that shit is so fucking dope.
That's dope. That's really dope.
Which you kind of made me think of, because you're right. Like this is basically monochrome.
Yep. But
for the floor, your hand.
Yep.
The orange, and then that little bit of purple.
Now, basically, and this was an issue that I ran into yesterday, to be completely honest, and honestly an issue that I run into a lot of the time when I post photos of phones is when it shows up in a square, I want to make sure that the phone is center. But if the phone is center in a 4:5 crop, you're going to get a lot of empty space on the top half of the photo. So I will show you what I mean. For whatever reason, Pixelmator does not have a native 4:5. I don't know why. So I'm going to say about there. That way you still get a little bit of the floor in, a little bit of the angle. And then the one thing that actually did slip by me, there's a power outlet right about here. I'm just going to quickly take out, and boom, just like that, it is gone because magic. So now what we're going to do, and what I sort of dreamed of yesterday, is I wanted to bring in like a film burn element. I'm gonna go. I don't know why Pixelmator Pro is so much worse than just Pixelmator.
You're sort of answering the question, but Marco asks, what software are you editing your photos on right now?
So this application is called Pixelmator. Pixelmator, I much prefer to Photoshop, just because Photoshop, in my opinion, I get lost in the software easily, whereas this is just very cut and dry. It's just easy for me to pay attention and not get sidetracked by like a ton of tools. And then it's also a lot cheaper because you don't have to pay the monthly subscription that you do with Adobe for Photoshop. Whereas with this, it's like $15, $20, and that's it. Like that's tied to your Apple ID, and you're good. So with that, Lightroom, Pixelmator, and then I use lens distortion on my phone. So yeah, there's that. Now, I will say, whenever you look at assets online, I always encourage people to buy those assets from the author or the creator or whatever, just because, you know, they're artists. Support your artists. But for the sake of demonstration right now, I'm not going to buy just because I don't exactly know what I want yet. So with this type of thing, I just search film burn within Google, and then I go to tools, size, large, and then here I just sort of look for something that will have a bit of substance on the top half of the photo, just because there's a lot of blank space here, as I mentioned before. So it's a lot of forehead. So I think I'm just gonna go with this type of thing. Again, it's a little different, but oh, that's the wrong application. I'm doing great.
So
go over.
Regarding like phone, Diego asks, adding light leaks on phone after light or lens distortion?
Lens distortion. Always lens distortion. Lens distortion is really powerful. The other app that I recently just found that I've been using a bit, I actually just subscribed to their service too, is called, is it RetroCam? It's called RetroCam. RetroCam is cool because you have a bunch of different like grain and like light leak options that are very different from lens distortion. Just like completely different style altogether. But past couple photos, especially Instagram stories in the past couple weeks, have all been through that app. So take a look at that. I'll actually leave a link to that in the Patreon. So obviously it's a travesty to blow up something that is not the native resolution. I am fully aware, but for demonstration purposes, we're gonna do this. So this is where we go through blending modes. Personally, I don't know. Yeah. Something about that is just like, it's cool, like, in a sense, but like not practical. But like, there's definitely elements from that we can add later if we so choose.
Nice little complementary color scheme there.
You already know.
That's really cool.
So something like that is also really cool.
Because it holds the weight.
Exactly.
Something I wanted to comment on.
Let's get it.
You mentioned talking about not using Photoshop because it distracts you.
Yeah.
I can totally relate to, and I think like that's something that's okay, and you need to like be able to recognize that in yourself. Like if you're somebody who needs to use all those tools, obviously use it. But like don't just use the best, most complicated tool because you think you have to, and it's like a posturing thing. Like if you're told like, if somebody tells you like, oh, you have to use Photoshop to edit a photo, and then you believe that, okay, yeah, I have to use Photoshop to edit a photo, and then it's just not working for you because the workflow isn't right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Trash that shit. Like,
use something else.
I write music and make shit on tons of different tools, and as like sort of comparable to like cameras rather than software, as a musician, like, and composer, like I'm constantly shifting the instruments I'm actually working on.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes like I'm working on a great piece of equipment that's really good and I know it's awesome, and it just doesn't have the right workflow, and I have to trash it. I have to say, this isn't right for me,
Yeah.
And a lot of times for me too, I think we're similar in this, like simplification is a lot better. It's when you have a lot of tools, sometimes it gets too confusing, and you want to use them all. And it's sort of like the conversation on monochrome. Like, you don't need a million colors. You know, you can make a great piece of art with one accent color.
Yeah. No, I think it was actually John from TLD. He said something to me a couple of years ago that still kind of sticks with me, which is like, you know, it's so easy to get lost in 20,000 different lenses. Where at the end of the day, you know, just restricting yourself to one lens, one camera, and like one fun element, go away. You can produce the best type of stuff, making the small tool pack that you have just work. Rather than, you know, having all these different things and having options, as much as it's a nice thing, can be detrimental a lot of the time. So I don't know, that kind of sticks with me in a lot of ways. Also, I didn't realize it was Marco. Marco, you're fucking dope. That's all. I just wanted to say that. So we're here. I have a couple options. I want to try a couple things real quick. I'm probably not going to finish this because I want to attempt one more photo before the end of this. But essentially, what I like to do to get a nice, subtle roll-off is I like to go for, this gradient tool. And from here, I'll just go up. Actually, no, I'll go other way down because reasons.
Beautiful.
Perfect. And now, I should really do that on the right layer, shouldn't I? I'm doing great. So from here, we're going to load selection, and then we're going to add a mask. Okay, and then we're going to delete this. So we're getting somewhere, slowly but surely. I like how there's that roll off from like the fake to the reality in a way. I'm going to basically destroy any semblance of that overlay on the phone, just because it's not the move, Chief. Wow, I really hate my references today.
Yeah.
Don't agree with me.
I have to deal with them all the time.
You know what? Swag is a great fucking statement. Don't you tell me otherwise. Oh. Jake has realized that I say swag a lot, and in his realization that I say swag a lot, I've also realized that I say swag a lot. I didn't realize that.
That's what I'm here for, baby.
And yeah,
I'm a mirror for You. That's
deep, profound. So that's a little sloppy, not gonna lie, but you know it'll work for right now.
You know what I'm liking? I want to contradict something you said.
Let's get it.
I love that the overlay is super super grainy and like at a shit resolution. I love that, and I know like we're different in that. Like I record on cassette and shit like that because I really like grainy. But I love that the photo you took is super high res, and then your overlay is like incredibly fucked up.
Yeah.
You know, in the best sense of the word.
Whoa.
There's just something really beautiful about that.
You know, I understand where you're coming from. I think for me though, I like to maintain as much natural vibe as I possibly can.
I hear you.
But still, you know, respect those natural elements.
Mm-hmm. Brandon Smurf.
I am a Smurf.
Or maybe it's a Shrek kind of thing.
Shrek's green.
Well, like your lower part of your hand is green.
Was it?
It kind of looked green from this angle.
Okay. Fair enough.
Hit us up in the comments. Was he a Smurf or was he Shrek?
You decide.
Also, feel free to take any photo of Brandon that's on the internet and collage it into Shrek or a Smurf.
Please don't.
Please do that.
Please.
And then at him.
Please don't.
Please at him publicly. Yes,
Thanks.
You can do that.
Appreciate.
Or you could send those ads directly to Michael Myers, who played Shrek.
Wait, did he really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's Michael Myers.
Interesting.
Yeah, so make a collage of Brandon's face on Shrek or a Smurf, and then send them via Twitter to Mike Myers, please. I think you would appreciate that.
So I think as far as this edit's gonna go, I think that's it. I don't know. There's something subtle about it, but also has that like really I don't know, like faded out film vibe, but still, you know, remains
Good
what
autumn
it is.
colors too.
It's still, what'd you say?
Autumn colors too.
Oh yeah. I think that's another thing you'll find out about me is like I like to respect the colors of the season a lot. But this was the version that I posted yesterday, right? And then this was the version I made today. Honestly, I think I might honestly prefer this version, to be completely honest. And I mean, I don't know. It's a different vibe altogether, in my opinion. This is definitely brighter and more pastel-y, whereas this is definitely more like fall and like deeper. Got some blues in there too, so you know, there's that. Have what you will with that. Now going back to Lightroom real quick, just because I want to tackle one more photo. Let's go with this photo. This was shot on iPhone 11. This was Deep Fusion. This was a Deep Fusion photo. Fun fact. So with this, did you hear the train? The train's here. So with this type of thing, because it's iPhone, again, we're not going to be able to control it nearly as much as a RAW photo, for obvious reasons. So here, we're just going to attack exposure. I really like how there's a lot brighter of a green over in this region. The sun is coming from my back, that type of thing. Solid shoe flex. And then I think let's go, I want to go for like a milky vibe, if that makes sense.
Yeah, milky vibe.
I want some solid colors in that water. Now, the one issue, because I tried editing this on VSCO before, is iPhone kind of messed up my skin tone a little bit, to the point where it's really not saturated in the slightest. and it's also very pink. And for whatever reason, whenever I play with the color of the water, it also affects the hand. So in that situation, you definitely want to either brush mask or shape mask a little bit to attempt to separate those two colors. But for the sake of time, we're just gonna try this. Going down to the color mixer. Let's see what happens when I play with this green. I don't know. Do you like the amber type of effect in the water? Or do you say punchy green?
I mean, when I look at you, you know, for as long as I've known you,
yes,
I would say amber is definitely the color of your energy. So
whoa, that's deep.
Are those? Here's a question.
Yeah.
What are those shoes called?
Those are the Off-White Prestos.
Okay, so Ryan says those Prestos are fire, man.
Thanks, man.
I just didn't know what those shoes were. I wasn't sure if he was talking about your shoes or something else.
Prestos are high-key one of the most comfortable of the 10 or the 20 or whatever they are at this point. Guess they're not part of the original 10. I don't know. Anyways, what's that color? Oh, it's this one. So up in this corner, we're getting a little bit of spill in color.
Also, I didn't answer your question before. Sorry. I do think it's good that the water's amberish.
Okay.
Knowing what brackish water looks like, that is natural.
So around there, right?
Yeah. It's like an algal bloom.
Yes, that.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Have you ever seen like the red blooms?
No.
It happens on some coasts.
Oh my god, what are you doing?
Are we still live? It says we're still live. What happened? Currently active. All streams recording will be shut down. No, please don't. No.
How?
Hit no.
How do you?
Hit no. Hit no. Hit
where?
no.
Where is that?
Over here on the screen. Over here. No, thank you. Do not.
No.
Okay, we're still
Okay,
good.
we're still good. I don't know what my computer just decided to do there, but yeah. Where was I? Where is Lightroom? What's happening? Oh my god, it closed out of Lightroom. Oh no. Okay, well.
Oh, wanted to update.
This is going swimmingly. Wow. Okay, I don't know where the hell I was. Okay, there we are. So, interestingly enough, the orange is what's messing with my skin tone. So let's go for a nice, solid gold. I don't know if this is the move with this edit, but I'm trying. I think something to learn about me is like I will come back to a photo many, many times before I even remotely think about posting it. Because photos have their own personality. I mean, you have to figure out where they come from.
Was this like a sunset at sunset?
It was close.
Yeah.
I think it was around like 5.
Yeah. The highlights on your leg and on the ladder.
Yeah.
Look really good, and obviously the long shadows make it feel like sunset.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're playing with the shadow made me think of that one run we went on recently on the bridge where it was like the shadows were like they were fucking like Tiffany. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I do. So I'm just kind of messing with these guys. I'm gonna attempt a split tone. I have to figure. So what I like to do is I like to go like way saturated at start to figure out like what kind of vibe I want, and then I like to pull it back and see what that did. And then we'll go back to this. I think we're getting somewhere. I don't really know. This photo is like I can't exactly figure out the vibe for this photo, to be completely honest. That's kind of why I threw it in today, because I feel like it's a good what the hell am I doing moment. I'm going to throw in a little noise reduction just because I feel like I was pushing those colors in the water a little far to the point where I was adding in a bit of banding. Does it even have a preset for this phone? No, it doesn't. So basically, I think I'm going to go back to color temperature and see what's happening. What is happening? I kind of like how it goes to a green.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's interesting. And then, going back to skin tone, just because it's kind of it's also interesting how my ankles are way more saturated than my hand. So once I start playing with saturation of my skin tone, they're two varying levels. So one gets overly saturated, the other one stays undersaturated, in my opinion. So this is kind of a difficult photo without going into a lot of editing for hours. It's a good start, but it's not there yet. I think there's a lot of work to be done in tone curves specifically, just because I don't know, I want that really punchy, milky kind of effect for the water. It's colors are really starting to distort down here, and I don't like that at all. So yeah, this might be an ongoing project, but what I am going to do is I'm going to save this. I'm going to bring this into Pixelmator.
Something to touch on too, from the vantage point of how to compose a shot like this.
Yeah.
This being a point of view shot.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important, and obviously you're a freaking pro, so you just kind of do this second hand. But if you look at your limbs here, look at the fact that there's a little bit of your left thigh included gives actually helps to give the viewer perspective that they're looking through your eyes. If some of that was not there, your limbs are akimbo. Your limbs are all over the place. They could be three different people's limbs.
Yeah.
But the fact that there's a little touch of thigh,
it brings it a little perspective.
Back. Yeah. So that's just from the point of view of the 1/250th of a second that you take a shot. There's so much composition that goes into that, and that's pretty important for something like a POV shot. No,
I mean, I think especially with this series, just for me right now, I think I was just thinking about the edit specifically, but you're right. I mean, I could talk about the way I shot the photo a bit too, which is interesting. But this I think this was the first week of owning an iPhone 10, so I was just kind of taking a picture of anything and everything.
iPhone 10? 11?
11? Mm-hmm. I keep calling it the iPhone 10. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's wrong with me. But yeah, this is where we are. I think 2 weeks ago, I gave this interesting advice that no one should ever use. Wink, wink. But just because lens distortion packs for desktop are so freaking expensive, I like to grab literally a black background. I like to make the size as big as possible. That'll work. Okay, so from here, I'm just gonna airdrop this to my phone. Brandon Havard. And then from here, I'm going to grab this. I'm going to save it. Add to photos. It's not called save anymore. And then I'm going to go into lens distortion. I'm going to go to scene 2 real quick. I'm going to go to lens distortion, right? I'm going to grab that black background. My favorite filter is this classic light leak with that little bit of a flare. And then I drag it to a point where the whole entire thing is filled in, no cutoff at all. And then I save it. And then I airdrop it back to my computer. Come on, airdrop. I believe in you. Okay. And then this is very much not a good hack to give people. But come on. Why is it messing with my mouse so much? And then I like to bring it in here. Again, for the sake of science, I am upscaling. And then I push it to screen. Then we get that little bit of a lens flare, which is, you know, definitely not the direction of the light, which I do like to pay attention to, but it does kind of look good. So I'm going to play with that a little bit, especially over there. It definitely helps enhance that milky vibe with the water. Now, if I had more time, I would select all of this water around my arm, my hand, and the stick, and I think I'd push it a bit more amber. I think or maybe I just go a deep, deep blue. I don't know. Because messing with the colors natively with the whole entire shot is not a great idea. You can't really push it that far. But if you kind of replace it and you know, sort of treat it as individual levels and layers, you get a much better or much more granular manipulation. So yeah, that's sort of where we are. That's my one lens distortion life hack if you don't want to spend a ton of money. Also, fun fact, they just released like a finishing LUT pack, which is interesting. I just downloaded one of them. It works really well, so definitely give that a try if you're interested. I think it's like a $34 pack, so it's still really expensive, but it's pretty cool if you want to give all of your footage a similar type of space to have that look of cinema. That was a lot of words I don't think really made sense. But yeah, that's where we are. What's time? Okay, I think we can. Minutes. I think we can still edit one more photo.
Yeah. To talk about that, how you know your lens flare hack.
Yes.
I think it also has to do with like recognizing gallery, recognizing like basically what you're advertising to. So like you chose something, you used an app on your phone. Mm-hmm. Most of the people that are going to be looking at that photo are going to be looking through their phone. It's an Instagram mm-hmm. photo. So mm-hmm. the gallery there is at a 4:5 ratio on a phone. So it's fine that so that you're kind of using the phone thing. If you were asked to show in a gallery, you know, and make a piece that somebody might buy for $1,000, you drop the money. Yeah. You know.
Also, I think it's important because I was editing this photo shot on an iPhone this big on a 27-inch 5K monitor. Most of the time, you're going to be viewing it maybe that big. Yeah. And that looks very different from that in terms of quality.
Oh, you didn't shift. Wow. You've been on
camera. Oh, wow. I'm good at this.
Sorry, y'all. We're still figuring this out.
Anyways, back to where we were. I added that back to this photo, and I gave it that look, which... yeah, I'm doing great. But yeah, that's where we are. It's mostly going to be viewed at that size. That's probably max because you're viewing it on your phone, on Instagram, on Twitter, whatever. It's never really going to be more than that size. So when we're editing it that big, obviously quality isn't going to look amazing because it's blown up really, really big. But at this size, it definitely looks a lot better. But yeah, I mean, I'm not happy with the photo 100%, but for the sake of science right now, I am good with it.
Yeah.
So let's move on to this really quick. This was actually a frame on Red. So again, it's kind of, it's a JPEG, so it's, you know, it's not raw, but taking a frame from a raw shot off of a Red, you still get a lot of manipulation. It's still definitely a JPEG, but you know, colors don't break down as easily and as fast. So there's that. Now again, Jake has a very different skin tone from me. So I like to keep that in mind because if you look at this region of the shot, we can push more magenta. If you look at this region of the shot, we can't push more magenta.
What do you mean?
So with this type of thing, you know what? So with this type of thing, we are going to linear gradient adjust.
I want to sort of touch on Francisco's question, which is he asked, how much money do you waste on packs? I guess, like, you know, overlay packs. And I would start to answer that by saying, it's not wasting.
Well, it's not. I mean, I get what you're saying. I have spent quite a bit of money on packs, unfortunately. A lot more in the past than I do now, mostly because I like, this is going to sound really stupid, but like I like to be as organic as possible. All of the things that you sort of see in my videos nowadays are pretty much created by me and me alone. Like it's all sort of natural stuff. It's all natural, organic. What?
So you alone, that's cool, yeah. Made by you alone.
Oh, well, audio is obviously Jacob Wolos. Shit. But
show them the practical effect.
Oh, we could tease it. This is the start.
It works, by the way.
I promise I'm going to go back to the second cam. This is the start of something big, I hope. Yeah. iPhone 11 intro for days, which I'm really excited about. Is it like, oh,
it works. Shit. Yeah, I did it on my phone.
Dude, that's solid.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm excited.
Yeah.
We destroyed a lightning cable for this. It was so worth it. I hope. But yeah, that's that. I'm excited to use this, but that's another thing altogether. So let's go back to scene 2. Okay, so with that type of thing, answering that question, I used to waste a lot of money. It's for the business, so therefore I am more willing to spend just because, you know, it's not like I'm buying shoes like that, which has nothing to do with, you know, my content. I'm buying stuff that helps advance, you know, creation and, you know, not to, you get it. But yeah, no. I have been known to spend a couple $100s on a single pack for something, which I'm not exactly proud of, but I have done it. So, especially once you start like on motion VFX or lens distortions, like that gets expensive really fast. And there's a lot of things that I want. So, but yeah. Anyways, we made this region a bit more magenta, and this region remains a bit greener. Now, ostensibly, we are going to see how much we can do with light. Again, I don't really want to mess up his skin tone too much because he's right on the cusp of getting blown out. Like this area of his cheek is very close, so be mindful of that pretty much. Again, we can play between exposure and highlight a bit, and see what sort of brightens up things without destroying the image. I think that's something that everybody struggles with, is making sure you expose correctly without messing up a skin tone. Someone who's really good at it is Joe. He's amazing at everything, but specifically like painting with light, he's amazing because he's Italian. I am too. I can do this. Yeah, let's go back here. I think it's a little warm for my taste. Yeah, pick up that blue. And then, honestly, as far as saturation, like, I think overall saturation is pretty solid. I do, however, want to make these blues a bit more teal because obvious reasons. Now, this type of thing, there's a lot of smudges on the glass, which is, you know, in retrospect, something I probably should have dealt with in the moment. But,
in the moment.
Shut up. You can't mention moment when I'm editing a Sandmark lens.
This is private.
It's not okay.
Content.
You know what? An audio clip just gets published to the internet.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Sandmark. I've been cheating on you. But yeah, that's sort of where we are. Like, I don't really want to... I really like the natural tones of this photo, to be completely honest. And also, since there is a skin tone, you have to be really careful. Like, it's a fine line that you walk. For whatever reason, the shadows are a little magenta, which I'm trying to even out a little bit. Let's see.
Francisco asks...
Yeah, a little bit. What's up?
Do you have an upload schedule? Do you upload on set days or hours, or is it just when you feel it's right to upload?
So I upload every other week. You know, everyone has a different system. I think, so what I've learned over the past couple years of working on YouTube with different creators, so Jonathan Morrison has a guy working at Sun Squared. His name is Matt, and he is brilliant when it comes to like figuring out the managerial end of YouTube. And you know, he basically always pushed me to upload more weekend heavy, obviously for, you know, people are off on weekends most of the time, who have, you know, the muggle jobs, but generally in the morning. So, you know, when you're getting up, drinking your coffee, you're most likely going to go on the YouTube app and look at a few videos. For Instagram, generally stick to either 10 a.m. or 7 p.m. That's about it. Days...
Is that that's based on your time zone, though?
That's based on... Oh, yeah, that's based EST. But for me, 10 a.m., 7 p.m., those are the two times that get the most amount of audience interaction. As for days, again, weekends are probably going to be better. Yeah, we pretty much stick to either 10 a.m. or 7 p.m. So that's sort of that on that. But YouTube's a completely different situation altogether. YouTube's really complicated for that reason, just because like there's so many rules and things that you could just drive yourself crazy. And generally, you know, with YouTube, I like to just have fun with it as much as possible, and not worry about upload schedules as much as I possibly can help it. So yeah, that's kind of that. I'm just kind of doing away with some of this dust situation. Some of it is like optical elements, so like these are definitely optical, not dust. That, however, is dust. Get out of here, dust. It's a little bit of a nick on the lens. I don't know what that was, but I did it.
Did do
that. And then, yeah, just getting rid of smudges, that type of thing, cleaning it up. I don't know what that is, but we gonna get rid of you because I don't want you. Yeah. I think that's out on that. A couple things on the case. Try and smooth that out as much as possible. So basically here, like I will zoom into a photo and I will like really get into the edit, and then I'll zoom back out and be like, wow, that's really green, or that's really magenta, or that's really warm. I just zoom back out and it looks really green. So I'm just gonna push things a bit more magenta without messing up the skin tone. Let's go back to that. Hello, Mike. I mean, house. Bit more magenta. Bit warmer. Yeah. Okay, we're getting somewhere. So yeah, that's that. Now, another thing before I sort of finish off this live stream is I like to add from time to time, especially if it's like something that's going to be a thumbnail or something that's going to go on Instagram. I like to give that like dreamy look. And with that type of thing, you want to raise your exposure. I'm going to bring everything back to, there's an easier way of doing this, but I'm not doing that. And then generally lessen your clarity. Bring dehaze down. Make this a bit more magenta. Okay, there we go. Sort of affecting that. And then can even dehaze a bit further.
You know, Francisco's kind of touching on something we've talked about.
So
he says it would be fun to submit our content and let you edit some of them.
Oh yeah. I forget who was it suggested that to me recently. Oh, I have those laces. Those are fun.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I'd be down. Maybe next week we try one of them. I can, I don't know. We can do something on Patreon. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, maybe we'll post like a submission.
Yeah, and I'll probably just pick one just because I still want to like edit like at least one of my photos. But yeah, no, that sounds fun. I'd be down. Yeah. Thanks for suggesting that. But yeah, so I'm still doing this like dreamy thing. You know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. With this photo, it's kind of doing a thing. I don't know. It was worth a shot. I think it's interesting. But going back to the original photo, definitely a different vibe. Yeah. So that's kind of that photo. I think from this point, I'd definitely bring it into Pixelmator and add a bit of a lens flare from this region. And then I think I'd also definitely separate this element, the stabilizer and the lens, from the rest of the background and make this a bit brighter and drop the background a little bit in terms of brightness. That way we have a bit more separation of elements, because obviously this is more important than this. We love you, Jake, but no.
It's okay.
But I think, was this a thumbnail? Did I post this as a thumbnail?
Yeah, you did.
I think I posted that as a thumbnail. Let me see.
Right before we go, too, since we should probably get going.
Yeah.
But to touch on, yeah, that's a good look.
So that's it's definitely a different vibe altogether. But like you can see, I added that little bit of a bloomy glow from that corner because of course the light source is from that corner. And then I think I increased brightness on this guy a little bit, which makes sense just because that's what you want to see. That's the thing that should punch out at you. And then
it almost looks like your fade like color matches the reflection off of the lens too, which is nice. That's a nice touch.
Yep. So that's that on that. Let's listen to Jake because
I'll use that as a segue, which is
I'm ready.
So yeah, I like the idea of you editing somebody else's photo as part of the set. Yeah. And eventually, I know we've only done this twice. Hey y'all.
Hey.
I know we've only done this 2 times, but we've been kicking around and it might come maybe in a couple months, but I'd love y'all to be part of the thought process on this, of doing something else on the off weeks. I know that like as sort of an observer in the rafters to this process, I end up having thoughts that are very not photo based, but based more in just general composition, because I have a lot more like this is stupid. I'm a Jake of all trades.
With that
we're done. Bye. No, but like I have a lot more generalized knowledge on like comp and structure. And it would be really cool to do something where we're looking, where we're judging, where we're critiquing like other people's works on those off weeks too. So I don't think we're gonna roll that out for a while, but I'd like to start. I'm probably gonna write about that in the newsletter too. Like, it'd be cool to start including all of you into the thought process that helps to create that.
In addition, I will also definitely be inviting guests onto this show. So that way it's less of a me show and more of like expanding the horizons in terms of creators, like getting different types of perspectives on photos and like photography, that type of thing, especially like when you guys are sending submissions. I think getting like a critique on that work in terms of like how you shot it or different things that you could have done to make the editing process a bit easier or better. But yeah, no, if you have suggestions in terms of people that like I could get on this show, that's definitely that. But yeah, let me know, let us know. I think I'll definitely post this photo over here on Patreon, and with that, let us know your thoughts and that type of thing. This is week 2, so we're just still definitely, or week 4, 3.
Live stream 2.
Yeah, live stream 2. So we're definitely still learning, as you can tell from the mishap that happened this morning in terms of figuring out how to go live, actually. But yeah, that's that on that. I think it's probably time that we should peace out. That was a rock sign. Peace out.
Yeah. So keep communicating with us. Whether that's through the newsletter, you can just comment right on it, and we'll see that, and I'll respond to it.
And also feel free to DM. Yeah, because
slide into that.
Isaac, I think slide into that DM. Yeah, definitely just communicate. Number 1 priority in terms of getting this thing rolling, just community effort, that type of thing. So yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna figure out how to end this live stream.
Fumble.
There's the button. Okay. Peace out, y'all. Mwah.